Ever we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique together. And that's the call. All patriots, all Grenadian loving people, let us build this place we call home together. I want to encourage those on Facebook to please share the live, share the live. Sharing is caring. And once you do that, your colleagues, your friends will get the opportunity to listen in. Again, those on YouTube, do the same thing. Sharing is caring. I want to start off tonight by saying they will not control the narrative in this country. And when I say they, I am referring to the obstructionist crew or team, those who believe because they're called opposition, they need to always be opposing and seeking to spread misinformation to the general public. But they will not control the narrative in this country because they want me and you to focus on one thing. They want me and you to utilize all our time focusing on the Chinese houses. And they know what they're saying doesn't make sense. We will speak about it because we believe in educating our people. We believe in providing information to our people so that they can be in a better position to reason at a higher standard. We seek higher reasoning, higher consciousness. So that's the main reason for us engaging in that kind of conversation. But we will not forget the many good things that are happening in Grenada for our Grenadian brothers and sisters, because this government has been and continue to do a brilliant job, a wonderful job, a fantastic job. And we are getting results. That is what's important. We are getting results. So firstly, I want to feature something positive. All right? Don't forget, we have the tax amnesty still in place, where once you are a taxpayer, property tax, whatever tax, once you are a taxpayer and you owe the government for your taxes, the tax that you supposed to pay, should pay, you can go in to the Ministry of Finance and pay the principal amount, all that you owe, the actual tax that you owe. You can go in and pay that, not the penalties and the arrears. So they wipe off the penalties and the arrears on the tax that you owe. Because once you owe taxes, there will be penalties, there will be arrears. You're late in paying. That is how it works all around the world. So what the government is saying, come in and pay only what you owe, not the interest, not the principal, and clear clear your bad record, right? Come out from the red. So you will no longer be owing, and then you can keep current. Every year, you pay your taxes. And for some people, the arrears is significant. So there are situations where you might be owing government in terms of the principal amount, $50,000. And the interest and arrears, the late fee and so on, the arrears, that might total $15,000 or $20,000. So you have to pay that $50,000 and you have to pay the $20,000. But what the government is saying, we're going to remove the $20,000 because that's penalties and fees and arrears, and you will only pay the $50,000 that you actually owe in taxes. Come on, that's a really good deal. So again, I want to say to you, it's going up until December. Take advantage of it.
The government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Finance, is continuing the rollout of its tax amnesty initiative. The amnesty provides 100% waiver of all interest and penalties on all outstanding balances up to the end of December 2021. All taxpayers with outstanding tax balances and outstanding returns to file are encouraged to take advantage of this amnesty. All tax types administered by the division are eligible for tax amnesty. For further information on the tax amnesty, please contact the Inland Revenue Division at 435-6945 or 435-6946. Email tpshelpdesk@ird.gov.gd or visit our website ird.gd. Amnesty ends December 31st.
Yes, I want to encourage you to take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. This is a really good move by the government to help our people, because here it is. By law, you are required to pay your taxes, and if you are late in paying the taxes, penalties will be attached to it, and you have to pay the penalties, pay the arrears, and still pay the principal amount that you owe by law. And they can take you to court, they can seize stuff, they can make you pay. So do not underestimate this good gesture by our government to say to all taxpayers, right? It's not just the businesses, because the NNP is out there saying, well, the tax amnesty is for the businesses. No, it is for all taxpayers, for all tax types. So you could be in business, you could be a landowner, a homeowner, right? All taxpayers. So let's move to something positive again, because it's important to stay on track with the positive things that are happening in this country. Young people continue to receive training in preparing their resume, in going on an interview, a job interview, how to do that, what to look for, what not to look for. Having that knowledge can help you to either get the job or fail your interview, maybe the first time, right? So I'm saying it's a good thing that the government is doing. They have been going around the island and engaging young people, helping them to do their cover letter, helping them to do their resume, put it together, helping them to prepare for interviews.
Young individuals residing in the parish of St. Mark and St. John will have a valuable opportunity to enhance their employable skills this weekend. The Division of Youth, operating under the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, is conducting a series of workshops focused on crafting effective CVs, composing compelling cover letters, and mastering job interviews. Eugenia Peters has the details in this report.
A CV or curriculum vitae is a vital document showcasing your skills, strengths, qualifications, and experience when seeking employment. Employers not only request a CV, but they also expect it to exude professionalism. Consider it as your introduction to the professional world, a portrayal of one of your most remarkable and employable individuals, you. The Job Preparedness Workshop is an extensive skills training program tailored for young individuals aged 16 to 35 within the designated community. The program comprises both theoretical and hands-on sessions focused on curriculum vitae writing, cover letter composition, and job interview strategies. At the end, the program participants are offered support in finalizing the cover letters and CVs, along with sharing opportunities for potential job placements. The primary objective of this program is to furnish participants with indispensable pre-employment skills, equipping them to seize opportunities in today's competitive job market. Enthusiastic feedback from attendees thus far attests to the value of this one-day training workshop.
Overall, I would say that the workshop was a well-detailed workshop. It is very important because we may know how to do certain things, but the skills in doing it and how to do it properly, I took away that from this workshop, and it was very helpful. What stood out the most was the cover letter, because that is where I had trouble in the past, but now, learning from what the instructor told us, I could see myself bettering that in the future.
I think that today's session was very informative. I like the fact that it was very hands-on, very practical, and it would have also helped with what I would have already know, so it would have put a lot into practice as well. And it would have also helped me to improve on what I already know as well.
So basically, I've learned a lot, but mostly I've done in school. It was just a reminder for me, and it was good. I enjoyed it, and I hope all those who participated learned from it and will take it into consideration at their job interviews.
I would say this workshop was really impressive. It taught me a lot. It helped me to improve on my cover letter writing and improve my CV. It also taught me how to do interview because I never did an interview before, so everything was really informative. It was well formatted and the information was very simple.
It was a great workshop. I learned a lot of things, like to write a proper CV, cover letter, and the different type of dress code used for the interviews and stuff. It helped me a lot because there are certain areas I kind of lacked in, and as to put in the information, the necessary information needed there.
The upcoming workshop dates are St. Mark and St. John, Saturday 7th October, St. Andrew, Saturday 21st October, and St. David Parish, Saturday 4th November. Interested individuals are encouraged to monitor the Division of Youth's social media channels and the Government Information Service for registration details and additional workshop information, or call 440-6917, extension 22019 during the hours of 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. From the Division of Youth, I am Communications Officer Eugenia Peters.
Right, that's a very, very good thing, and I'm happy that the young people are getting that training. That's a really, really good move if you ask me. They will be able to do a proper cover letter and prepare their resume or their CV. That's the positive news. The NNP will not tell you about that. They will not showcase that. All they can talk about is the new Imani training program. That's all, right? Every time the NNP speaks about young people is the new Imani training program. And that program kept a lot of young people in places where they just didn't want to be training or working. And some of them stayed on, even if the program is 2 years or 18 months, they stayed on for 6 years and 7 years and 8 years in that particular program. No upward mobility. So I am so happy that this government is prioritizing human resource development, helping the young person to find their way and become independent, not dependent. So I'm really, really, really happy to see that our young people are taking advantage of those training opportunities. The rooms filled to capacity. St. Mark, St. Patrick, I mean, wherever they go, they get a good turnout of young people going to learn, going to participate. And that is what we want as we move forward in this country. It should not be just a handout. It should not just be a situation where you're going to beg for everything. It's empowerment, giving you the skill set, making sure that you have this skill set to survive in this competitive environment. It's the positive things we want to hear. The NNP, they don't want to hear that. No, they're not interested in that. Well, they always say, well, the prime minister traveling, and he ain't bringing back nothing. Well, I tell you, every time he travels, he brings back plenty stuff for this country.
Grenada's Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, has signed an air service agreement with Qatar, which highlights that the national carriers of both countries will be able to operate an unlimited number of passenger and cargo flights with full transportation rights. The agreement was signed on Tuesday, October 3, 2023. Qatar's Minister for Transport and Prime Minister Mitchell also engaged in dialogue to promote Grenada-Qatar relations, which focus on technical assistance and training in aviation and other areas that can further enhance transportation and ports of entry. The Minister for Transport also pledged 3 fully funded aviation scholarships to Grenadian students in any of the 10 specialized fields, including airport operations, meteorological services, air traffic control, and engineering. During his visit to Qatar, Prime Minister Mitchell also met with the acting president and acting director of the president's office to discuss general matters regarding civil aviation. The acting president solicited the Prime Minister's support in encouraging other Caribbean countries to sign on to the agreement as they seek to expand their partnerships.
Yes. So again, more things are coming to our people. Opportunities are coming for our people here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Scholarships, having to, go from this part of the world to the Middle East, to the United States, to Canada, to other places where Qatar Airways operates, right? I really love to see what's happening for our country. We have seen our beloved Prime Minister able to get additional flights to come to Grenada. We have seen that. Before, it used to be very difficult to get in and out of Grenada. It's a thing of the past now, thanks to the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. And the reason why Keith Mitchell is uptight and upset with the fact that our beloved Prime Minister is out there flying our flag high and making sure that opportunities come for people is really because he's jealous. Keith Mitchell is jealous of the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. Wherever our Prime Minister goes, our beloved Prime Minister, everybody wants to meet him. Everybody wants to greet him. Everybody wants to engage him. Everybody wants to be a part of his circle because he's meek, he's simple, he's intelligent, he's very, very smart. And when it comes to negotiating, when it comes to getting stuff for our country, he's able to do that in a flash. So again, I want to commend him. I want to applaud him for continuing to get good things for our people. Let's move to the next positive item.
The Housing Authority of Grenada, HAG, has identified a new procedure for the distribution of the second phase of the China Grenada low-income houses. During a press conference facilitated by management of the Housing Authority, Chairman Hugh Thomas said the value of the...
Right, so I wanted to play that one last. So let me feature the other one first. All right? Artificial insemination.
Through the launch of the artificial insemination program, the Ministry of Agriculture aims to enhance the cattle breeding stock on the island and improve beef quality over the next 5 years. This is part of the livestock component of the Food Security Enhancement Project, funded by the World Bank. Details in this report.
The program officially commenced on Wednesday with the administration of hormones to 4 heifers in the parish of St. Andrew. Chief Veterinary and Livestock Officer Dr. Kimont Cummins explained that this program, supported by funding in excess of $100,000, introduces new genetics from Texas, USA into Grenada's genetic pool, leading to the birth of superior breed offspring. The ministry has already acquired 1,100 straws of semen for this endeavor. Dr. Cummins clarified that instead of relying on natural heat cycles, the program utilizes estrous synchronization, a hormone-based technique to control the reproductive cycles of the animals.
The semen that we will be using is from a breed called the Santa Gertrudis. So they're selected for very low butt weight, right, which is very good for our cow because our cattle are kind of small framed, right? So we expect very little button difficulties, right? But the good thing about these calves here, the growth rate is very accelerated. So we expect a very feed to meat conversion ratio. They have very good quality carcasses. Good reproductive statistics as well. So. And they're selected for meat, so it's not really a dual purpose per se. It's a good meat cattle, so we expect good quality beef. Well, not in the short term, but once the plan is a 5-year trajectory period with continued AI, with some of the F1s that we have now, the hybrid, to get us to a point where we have at least about 80, 89, 90% of the genetics, so we have some good quality cattle that we would start seeing some good quality carcasses.
Although the program commenced in St. Andrew, Dr. Cummins welcomed participation from all cattle farmers.
The AI is open to all cattle farmers. We're just asking for them to be registered, right? And there is a short list. There's a short list of the requirements that we ask in, being able to properly attend to the animals, have land space, transportation, may not, right? Transportation is optional, but if you don't have large expanse of land, you must have a way that you could transport feed. So, transportation is also critical, although it's optional, right? We're asking for most of the farmers to be registered. Right, the animals has to be tagged. There's a memorandum of understanding that we want the farmers must agree upon or sign off on with the ministry. The animals must be in good health, right? They must be properly dewormed and vaccinated, and so we could, expect some good quality, strong, healthy calves in the next 9 to 10 months.
Beautiful. That's the way to go, if you ask me, because remember, we have had some problems with getting beef from the local market. We have had that problem for a long time, and we have to depend on St. Vincent to actually get a cow or two in Grenada to slaughter and to sell. So it's a really good thing that they are doing, and we wish them all the best. And we just hope that between now and the next 3-4 years, we would have enough that we can at least start selling outside. All right? That's the way to go. So I want to commend the young doctor there who's in charge of livestock within the Ministry of Agriculture. And now let me move to the housing part.
The Housing Authority of Grenada, HAG, has identified a new procedure for the distribution of the second phase of the China Grenada low-income houses. During a press conference facilitated by management of the Housing Authority, Chairman Hugh Thomas said the value of the houses has increased as a result of upgrade, and therefore candidates will be required to acquire a loan to obtain the houses. The authority has been contacting the successful candidates following a thorough vetting process.
We are asking people to do one of two things. Come, if you have the full amount, you could come to the Housing Authority and buy straight from the Housing Authority. If you don't, then you will need a loan from any of the financial institutions. The Housing Authority of Grenada contacted the financial institutions before, and they are on board, and they're eager and they're willing. They are going to be offering loans. We had suggested at 3%, and it will go from maybe between 3 and 5%. But we really got the assurance of some that they would stick to the 3%. The cost of a single one-bedroom unit is $55,000, and the cost of a single two-bedroom unit is $73,000.
A one-bedroom unit is being sold for $55,000, while the market price is $141,251. And a two-bedroom unit is being sold for $73,000. However, the market price is $204,734. Mr. Thomas said government has given an additional 5% markdown for the cost of the houses.
Although the apartment is they are paying 55 and 73,000, it has been marked down by 55%. The government has marked it down by 55%. In the previous phase one, the information getting to us is that it was marked down by 50%. So the government has marked it down even further, and from what we have seen inside the apartment, it is actually built better. For instance, there is a concrete roof on top of the building, and on top of the concrete roof you have the alu zinc. And there are many other features.
Accountant at the Housing Authority, Giselle Blackman Charles, explains that the authority will host viewing of the units for the prospective homeowners starting on Friday, October 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Corinth, St. David.
The authority will be required to install Homeowners Association by January of 2024. We will manage the security, repairs, and maintenance of the sites for the first 3 years. For a period not exceeding 2 years, any naturally occurring plumbing, electrical faults, mold, fungus, pop tiles occurring inside any unit shall be the expense of the Housing Authority. The authority will be setting up a secretariat at each site to handle all questions and accommodate sites visits during this transition process.
Viewing for the units in the Villa St. Patrick and Diamond St. Mark will take place on Tuesday, October 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and at Bushejou St. George on Friday, October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Right, so folks, it is important that you understand what is at stake here. And I want to commend Hugh Thomas and the team. They have been out there providing the public with credible information, because the NNP is out there with their misinformation, with their false information. And this morning, I asked the question, if you say the houses were built for the poor and the vulnerable, and if you say it's low-income houses, can the poor and the vulnerable actually pay for those apartments? Because once you're poor and vulnerable, you do not have a steady income stream. You do not have a paycheck where you can actually, get a loan or pay back. But here it is. The reason why I made that statement is because the first phase of this whole houses or apartment distribution occurred under the NNP. And that is something that people are not discussing. The first phase of this houses and apartments and so on, they were distributed under the NNP. So the NNP distributed the apartments in Montrush, Soubise, and Frequente. And they actually charge the people who occupy those apartments 30-something thousand, 40-something thousand, and 50-something $1,000. But still, for all, the NNP surrogates and pundits are saying, well, these apartments were meant for the poor and the vulnerable and the needy. But just being logical here, where and when and how will a poor and needy or a poor and vulnerable person will be able to pay 30 something thousand or 40 something thousand dollars for an apartment, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. Where? So the NNP gave these people this letter saying, well, look, you have to pay 30 something thousand, 40 something thousand dollars, 50 something thousand dollars at the apartments. And they couldn't pay. So the reason why the Housing Authority stated to the Grenadian people that some $4.9 million is still owed, still outstanding by the people who occupy those apartments in Montrush, Frequenty, and Soubise. They just couldn't pay. So while the NNP is talking a lot about the poor and the vulnerable, they really did not care about the poor and the vulnerable, because if they cared about the poor and the vulnerable, they would give them the apartments free. They would have given them the apartments in Montrush, in Soubise, and in Frequenty free. But they trapped them. It's called a debt trap. They gave them the apartments, and they know they couldn't pay. They know they will not be able to pay the 30 something thousand dollars or the 40 something thousand dollars. They could be alive until they're 110. They will not be able to pay for it because they are the poor and the vulnerable. The majority of them do not have a work. The majority of them not getting any pay at the end of the week, fortnight, a month. The majority of them, they're unemployed and looking for help. So what the NNP did is to sentence these people into further poverty. You think the NNP don't know that these people will never be able to pay back this 30 something thousand and 40 something thousand dollars? They're aware. They know. So when they speak about they love the poor and the vulnerable, the journalists, if they're doing proper investigative journalism, need to say, but you love them so much. Why didn't you give them the apartments free? Because you say the apartments were given by China for these people. So why you didn't give them free if you love the poor and the vulnerable so much? And this thing is common sense, you know. So the NNP making a big fuss over phase 2 distribution of these houses or apartments because they want political mileage. They know what this government is doing is way better than what they did when they were distributing the apartments at Montrush, Soubise, and Frequenty. You know. Look at inside of these apartments. I could tell you the apartments in Montrush, Soubise, and Frequenty, they don't have the cupboards, the closets, and all the different things that this administration put in there to make it comfy, to make it comfortable for that person who is going there to stay. You can set up and live on day one in that apartment. And it is low income. It's not poor and vulnerable apartments. The NNP wants you to believe that it is poor and vulnerable apartments are those housing schemes that the government is about to distribute. Because every time they open their mouth, they talk about the poor and the vulnerable over and over and over again. And some people are at that place where they're thinking these apartments are for the poor and the vulnerable, but they are low-income apartments. In fact, I went back to an interview with the Chinese ambassador, and he actually, through his interpreter, said low-income houses. So it was meant from day one to be low income. And if you tell me paying for a place to stay at $55,000 and that place actually worth $100 and something thousand, right? If that is not low income, then something has to be wrong. Because where in Grenada, you can take $55,000 and build a house. I want anybody to tell me where in Grenada you can take 55,000 EC. And I am being reasonable here, and build a concrete and wooden house. Just that. 2 bedrooms, wooden house with a concrete bathroom and a concrete veranda. Just that. Much less the land. Because to build that wooden house with concrete bathroom and veranda, you need to own the land. So tell me firstly, where would you get land for, let's say, a $10,000 or $20,000 in this place? You might be able to find somewhere on the countryside, somewhere far, right? But I'm simply saying we have to become more logical, more reasonable in our thinking. One, to get a piece of land in Grenada now, you have to have a lot of money, right? 2, these apartments are low income and not poor and vulnerable. So the NNP continue to say poor and vulnerable, but they are low income houses or apartments. And where in Grenada you can take $55,000, or let's move to the 2-bedroom apartments that they were showcasing, right? That they were actually showcasing, and I think I played that on the program here too, you know. Sometime back, let me just try to get that there. That they were actually showcasing, right? One sec. Let me just get it here. Let me see. Right, showcase. I think I played that here. Let me look at the show. Right, nice. So the houses, right? So the 2-bedroom. That is how it looks. The 2-bedroom apartment. All right. Let me get that here for you. Nice. So that's the 2-bedroom, because let's talk about the 2-bedroom. So that is the 2-bedroom apartment, right? That's a 2-bedroom apartment, and it looks really nice on the inside. I want to say to you, this costs only $73,000. Only $73,000. Where in Grenada you can take $73,000 and build a house, unless you're the carpenter, you're the mason, you're the helpers, you're everything. Unless you're a helper, you're a carpenter, you're a mason, the land belongs to you, and you get some deal where your materials would be discounted in a big way, maybe you might be able to build something. But not to that level, if you ask me. And I am no expert here when it comes to that, but it's kind of common sense. Common sense. $73,000 sounds like a lot of money, but when it comes to owning a home, building a house, it is not a lot of money in that context. And look, Housing Authority is not saying to you, you have to go and get a loan to buy the apartments. What they're saying to you, they will not be caught with the same trick from those who got the apartments in Frequente, Montrush, and Soubise, and agreed to pay Housing Authority every month $200, $300, $175. So they agreed when the NNP gave them the apartments. Remember, they gave them with a letter saying that you owe $30-something thousand, you owe $40-something thousand, you owe $50-something thousand, and you have to pay. So they entered into an agreement with the Housing Authority to pay on a monthly basis a certain amount of money. They started paying the first month, the second month, the third month, and then they stopped because their party in power and the party called them the poor and the vulnerable. So how do you then expect the poor and the vulnerable to pay for the houses? And that is why I have been saying the NNP doesn't like or appreciate the poor and the vulnerable, and they are their supporters, the poor and the vulnerable. If you take your time and you try to jot down some of the things that happen for poor people in this country under NNP, under NDC, I can tell you that under the NDC, they have done more, far more, for poor people in this country than the NNP did in 20-something years. I'm telling you. So when they start speaking about the poor and the poor and the poor and the vulnerable, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. See it as a trick. They're trying to play on that card with the hope that the poor and the vulnerable people will continue to support them because they believe that we have more poor and vulnerable people in this country, and that might help them to get back into power. That is what they believe in. And you hear them start saying it, that we have more poor and vulnerable people in Grenada, and as a result, that would help the NNP to get back into power if they focus all the conversations on the poor and the vulnerable, the poor and the vulnerable. Anytime they speak, they mention the poor and the vulnerable, the poor and the vulnerable. But if you call them poor and vulnerable, why didn't you give them the apartments free? The NNP had the opportunity to give them the apartments free. They refused to give them the apartments free. They gave them a letter saying that they have to pay $30-something thousand, $40-something thousand. But where would the poor and vulnerable people get $30-something thousand, $40-something thousand for an apartment or, the apartments? Where? So you already sentenced them to poverty for life. So now they're in arrears. You have some of those NNP supporters out there saying, well, give them free, give them an amnesty, ease them up, right? And I'll play one of them because he's a mouthpiece for the obstructionist, in my belief. Listen to him.
Out of that. But what I want to speak about is the whole question of persons being delinquent, right, on payments and so for the houses, and which is expecting, because the best of us, we owe, banking institutions, we owe the shops, we owe whatever persons that we're dealing with, and so. And it's amazing to understand that it's around $2 million, $3 million, right, that is being owed by personnel who occupy, right, these houses. I think it's Subies, that's one, the one in River Road, right, Mount Rush, and there's another one. And the government apparently is moving to collect, right, on these delinquents and so. And yes, it is something that you invest in and everything like that. Well, and not just invest, but most of the housing units was given by as donations by the government of China. Right now, I want to appeal to government. Just as you gave the business people tax amnesty, you gave other persons tax amnesty. I'm appealing to you to also apply amnesties to those personnels, right, who are being delinquent at this point in time, because we understand the economic situation. We understand the persons who are dwelling there. They are not persons per se who are not under the poverty line. So I want to bring to you, Minister Telesford and Prime Minister, members of his government too, give the people who are delinquent in the sum of over $2 million, give them an amnesty. Let the government basically take up that expense, just as you did with the business people. They didn't pay a lot of VAT that they have collected, and so a lot of them didn't pay and they had penalties on it. You waive it from them. They are business people, they are into business. But the persons who occupy these units and so, I think that they need your assistance. And I am begging, I'm appealing to you to give them an amnesty, waive all the charges and let them start afresh, with proper guidelines. And so you can do that by the stroke of a pen. We know you can. So I'm appealing to you, Minister Telesford, right? Let us see the heart, the good heart that you have inside of you. Right. Extend
right, so that's
to the person.
That's one of them. In my view, this guy, he needs to go back and listen to that piece, because one, you're talking about $4.9 million in arrears, and you're saying by the stroke of a pen, you can just forgive this and let them start afresh. Start afresh to do what? In the first case, they couldn't pay. So if they couldn't pay, what you're really starting afresh to do? So you're giving them the apartments free to say, well, you don't have to pay, it's yours, take it. Housing Authority has to find $188,000 to insure the property. They have to also maintain the yard. They have to also repair the facility, the plumbing work, the electrical work, the railings, the roof, the windows, the doors, the wall, the painting. Look, some of these guys believe that they're smart, but they're foolish. So they always talk about the poor and vulnerable. And somebody made a good statement, a good comment under the live a while ago. The individual is saying, if we have so much poor and vulnerable people in Grenada, who really we should blame for that? Because one party has been in power, or was in power, for almost 25 years, almost quarter of a century. One party. And you telling me we still have so many poor and vulnerable people in this country, because every time the NNP, their pundits, their surrogates, open their mouth, those obstructionists, they talk about the poor and the vulnerable. So who do we blame? Because you have to blame somebody. Because we just a small island, small state with just about 100,000 people. And you're telling me we have so many poor and vulnerable people here, and you were in power for almost 25 years. So you did nothing to help them to come out of poverty. You did nothing to transform them, to make sure that, they have a better standard of living. Look, it took the most honorable Deacon Mitchell to decide, well, boy, we have to get rid of this peat latrine thing, and provide a proper bathroom facility for our people. Give them dignity, give them pride, give them something to smile about. Boy, I tell you, it's amazing. It's amazing. So Housing Authority has to find $2.2 million to repair the facility. $2.2 million. Where would they get the money from? Huh? Right, so let me just play that ad here for the Florida chapter.
As the NDC Florida chapter celebrates its first anniversary on October 14th, I invite you, Grenadians, and friends of Grenada in Florida, to come join us at a grand anniversary gala at the elegant Floridian Ballrooms in Pembroke Pines, South Florida. I will be there as a special guest of honor and will be pleased to meet, greet, and update all of you on what we are doing in government at home. Contributions to the gala are $200, and it promises to be a memorable event. So get your tickets today, online at gotofet.com or from any member of the National Democratic Congress Florida chapter. Proceeds from the gala will go towards the construction of the party's resource center to the benefit of all Grenadians. So remember, October 14th, NDC Florida chapter inaugural gala in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Nice. Thank you very much. The most honorable Deacon Mitchell there, so don't forget that. That's weekend, huh? Yeah, that's weekend. That's weekend coming. So please support, buy the tickets, and be involved, be a part of this. Remember, my event is on the 9th of February, 2 days after our 50th independence celebration at the Radisson Crown Ballroom. That's in Grand Anse there, Radisson Beach Hotel, Radisson Hotel. So on the 9th that's Friday, the 9th of February at Radisson Crown Ballroom. Tickets will go on sale soon. In fact, a good friend called me today, two. One said they want 10 tickets and the other said he needs 4. So very soon the tickets will be on sale online and also in person at different locations, because that venue can hold up to about 500 people. All right, so we're looking forward to having 500 or more at that venue. And it will be a nice, elegant, cocktail, formal event. So you're going to put on your nice dandan and come and shake a leg. So you're going to eat and you're going to shake a leg, drinks, food, not heavy food because it's a cocktail event, but the day, that very day, all the ticket holders, the people who purchase tickets to be at the event, you will be invited to come at my place where I live to come and get oil down for free. So the oil down will be free, and you buy the drinks and so on. I'll have a solid bar right here. So that heavy aspect of the food will be during the day, but in the nighttime, it's a cocktail event, light cocktail event. So that is something that you need to bear in mind, right? So you'll have 8 pieces or 10 pieces with, your wine, your rum, your beer, your whatever. Solid the band will perform. Langdon, the saxophonist, he will be performing there too. And some other folks, stand up, spoken word, poetry, artists and so on, poets. We're going to have that, a nice night. Some other people will be performing and so on. So we're going to have a wonderful time there. So once the tickets is available, I'll tell you where you can get them. And it will be about $200 or 200 EC money, not US. It's about 200 EC. So I'll tell you some more about that. And I look forward to having you at this event, right? So the Radisson Crown Ballroom. And it's not one where you come with your short pants and that kind of stuff. It's more elegant night out as we celebrate our 50th independence, 50 years of being an independent nation, a sovereign state. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of that event too. Take good care, folks. Peace and love. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, from 8 in the a.m. We have to keep the narrative going. We have to control the narrative and put the message out there so that our people can understand what's happening, right? Yes, we're going to be on a defense from time to time, offense from time to time, but basically it's about putting the correct information out there in the public so that our people can appreciate what's happening in Grenada. And we are transforming not just the country, but individuals, families, communities, step by step by step. And ultimately, the country will be transformed, but we're transforming people. We're helping our people to move to the next level. So take good care, peace and love, and bye for now. There's some other things I have to promote for a couple of people. I will do that from tomorrow as we move forward, right? Quite a number of things for the party, different constituency and so on. I'll do that from tomorrow, God's willing. I want to thank the 800 and something people who were online, Facebook and YouTube put together jointly, right? So YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank you very much for doing that, for being a part of the program, for sharing the program, for telling people what's going on so they can tune in and where they can find the program. So peace and love. Have a wonderful